Do you poop in your showers? I have a suggestion for you.
Europeans come to this continent, literally ethnically cleanse the indigenous population out of existence, kill them on a scale that has hardly been equaled, and refer to them as savages. That's an achievement. Who's the savage?
Now I want you to look at this photo very closely, and I want you to see who's in it. More important than the man hanging, because you got to understand the lynchings that occurred in America happened after slavery, not during. Thousands of lynchings happened after slavery, because this is a reaction to white fear of what we would do once freed. But we didn't create a vigilante group to take out white people, but they did create a vigilante group to take us out now that we're free. See, that happened after slavery. They were called the what? The Ku Klux Klan. They don't wear hoods anymore. They wear suits.
The reason white people get so upset when black people are celebrated is because they believe we only exist to serve them or entertain them. If we do something within our own community for us that doesn't replicate some form of servitude or involve them at all, they feel left out. In their minds, our only purpose is to exist to serve them in some way. They believe that we should inherently sacrifice our bodies for them and do not see us as human with our own autonomy, our own ideologies, interests, capabilities. This is why Trump brought up the fact that immigrants were taking black jobs. He and a lot of other white people believe that black people only exist in America to serve. He doesn't believe that we should be in any leadership positions or any job that serves our own interests or community. The only reason so many people were upset about the halftime show is because it had a much deeper meaning, and that meaning they could not understand. They realized that the entertainment that they think belongs to them was not for them. They think that all entertainment should be accessible to them and about them. They can't fathom how we can do anything other than be a black body for their enjoyment.
I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines.
What I did with the FDA is I forced them to move.
But they're alive and well all over the world, even here. So look at who's in the picture. I want you to look at this little girl in particular. You can't see her closely, but she's actually grimacing, like smirking. Now, remember, let's go back to the puppy concept here. She would be loathed and torn up probably if this was a puppy, which means he's less than that, because she's not disturbed. This little girl is not disturbed by this, but she should be, shouldn't she? People always ask me, they go, Joy, what was the impact on white people? There it is. Right there. Can't feel any empathy for him. None, zero, zip. There's a little one back here, even smaller. Because whatever she's been taught or told, socialized to believe, makes him no longer human. That's the greatest danger to white people, is that they can't feel it. And there's a reason why white people can't feel what we're talking about. My God, what would you then feel? It's tough. So I've got to believe, oh, it's all over now. It's not my fault. I don't benefit. It's not a big deal. Let's move on. It's not all of those things. But we don't say that to Jewish people. I dare you. But you have to understand, when you unearth this one, that's what we did to our children.
It's okay, Shirley. It's okay, love. It's okay. Just let her relax. It's okay.
Come on. One time only. Come on.
Let her come back.
You already talked last night. You already talked last night, right? You said yes. It's only here. Just one time.
Okay, promise, real quick, okay? And it's all right, baby. And you are done. All right. Good job. Woo! Let's put a band in on it.
Not fair to watch.
It's okay, hon. There you
Family member just brought this to my attention on his NASA shirt here. He says that this aluminum from his deodorant is getting trapped in his armpits, and it's not washing out of his shirt. And this is not just happening on one shirt. Look at all of that. It's happening on multiple shirts, you guys. This is not a coincidence. This is what happens when you use deodorant with aluminum in it, you guys. They tell you plain as day that there's aluminum in the deodorant, and it's supposed to be an antiperspirant. So they're using aluminum to try to keep you from sweating. We have to understand this is destroying our bodies from within. Our bodies are absorbing these heavy metals on different levels, and we have to understand that this is completely toxic. This is absolutely insane. These companies should literally be sued from putting these heavy metals into our bodies. Look at this, you guys. This is getting trapped in his shirt because it's metal. It's coming from inside the sleeves and getting trapped in this guy's shirt, dude.
It will take a while to make you smile. Somewhere in these eyes, I'm on your side.
McDonald's is famous for its burgers, selling approximately 75 every second. Of course, this means that the fast food giant must be doing something right when sandwiching their signature all-beef patties inside of a simple bun. But what makes these burgers so delicious? Here's the secret.
They found human remains in McDonald's burgers this year, and I believe next year that'll be the thing that brings down McDonald's in rapid style.
Contrary to widespread rumor, all of their patties are actually made from 100% USDA-inspected beef.
There'll be very few people who go into McDonald's when they found human remains in McDonald's burgers.
Prior to 2011, like many other fast food chain restaurants in the United States, McDonald's did use the meat-based filler commonly known as pink slime in their burgers. The substance in question was beef, but only technically. Pink slime is actually made from finely textured beef trimmings that are then treated with ammonia before being ground up into a pink paste. Is it gross? Yes.
Yeah, it's just, between that and the Cinemix, which, by the way, Clay Clark pointed out Cinemix about a month ago. Cinemix is the flavor ingredient, and it's spelled SENOMYX, Cinemix. It's a flavor ingredient that is a sweetener for food, but it's made out of aborted female kidney cells. Aborted female kidney cells.
But thankfully, pink slime is no longer an ingredient in McDonald's hamburgers. In 2014, as part of a widespread effort to debunk the negative consumer perceptions that surrounded their beef products, the company hired former Mythbuster Grant Imahara.
It's all there. They can't hide it. But Pepsi and Fritos and Quaker Oats and Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice are just some of the companies that use Cinemix. So basically, you're a cannibal if you're eating food that is using Cinemix flavoring additives because it's made from aborted fetal tissue, your kidney cells of a female fetus. How's that grab you, Charlie?
The first time I encountered this was in a little town in Massachusetts called Deerfield. It's a reconstruction of what that little town looked like in colonial America. And in front of each house is a plaque that explains something about this house. And then description. On the 18th of October of 1702, the savages attacked. The first time I saw this, the savages. You come in here, destroy everything these people have, and they are the savages. That's an interesting move.
It is. I hadn't thought of that before.
Think about it.
How does it feel to be the first selected for Davis Cup play?
The black man in the mostly white world of tennis was a momentous occasion.
Quiet, ladies and gentlemen, please.
They don't let whites and blacks play together. And people look at me that he's a before anything else.
This young man with this big afro hairdo.
Connors was the overwhelming favourite, having defeated Ash in their 3 previous meetings.
For Ash, not very much for a man of 6'1".
The ball was out. Some way that encouraged me to adopt the attitude of, well, I'll show them. I know what it's like to be stepped on. I know what it's like also to see some black hero do well in the face of adversity.
No doubt about it being out, but it was a gallant effort.
Ash serving from the match.
That's it! And he's done it. He really has done it. With that sublime display of tennis, he became the first black male to win the men's singles championship at Wimbledon.
One of the most disturbing comments that I get as a content creator from white people is them calling me a race traitor, which is disturbing for 3 reasons. The first, obviously, is that this term is rooted in white supremacy and stereotypes and beliefs that people of color are inferior. I create my content largely to try to educate white people. This is not true because a lot of white homes pass along these views to their children in ways that they don't even realize. The second reason this is so disturbing to me is that this term also evokes like almost like a race war of sorts, where it's people of color on one side, white people on the other, which is historically the way that white people have organized society. And now I believe that is also why the Great Replacement theory is so popular, because it is rooted in this idea of race traitorism. They are trying to discourage white people from procreating with non-white people as much as they possibly can, because in their eyes, that is actually going to lead to us somehow losing as white people. And the third reason it's so disturbing is that a lot of these people in their day-to-day lives are probably not actively racist. They're probably members of your community and they interact with people of color on a day-to-day basis, but they keep their mouths shut and take their anger out online.
This is why they always tell athletes who use their platforms to speak about injustice that they need to just stick to football. We don't want to hear your opinion, because they don't value us. They don't see us as human. That is their way of attempting to put us in our place. Do what we want you to do. Entertain us. Use your body to play the sport that you're good at, and win me some damn money. Don't even get me started on the way the NFL draft mimics the slave trade. White people know how talented and capable we are. They know how close-knit of a community we have. They know that we don't need them to thrive, but they need us to thrive. If we didn't exist, they wouldn't have anywhere to steal their ideas from. And they wouldn't be able to keep up with the constant demands of life. They expect everyone else to do it for them. A lot of white people only want us if they can profit off of us in some way. Anything that the Black community initiates for ourselves offends them, because this idea of white ownership is not at the core of what we do. They hate that even though we have to work 10 times as hard as them to get in some of the same positions of power and influence, we always do the job better than them every single time.
Do you poop in your showers? I have a suggestion for you. You know, when you just stomp poop and it won't go down your drain, what are you to do? You get your shower head. This shower head specifically has an on and off button, and it's got 3 modes to wash it down the drain. This is going to push it down the drain, and you don't have to worry.
Get out. Doesn't want to come out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. I'm even so squeezing it. Oh my Lord in heaven. Look at that thing, how long it is. I promise. I promise. Are you done? Almost done. Yeah. Almost move in a little bit. Good job.
When they're feeding the dead to the living, you know the end is near. Check out this death chamber, this washing machine. They call it aquamation, where they liquefy the dead and then dump the remains down the drain to be recycled into the municipal water supply. And so people are drinking it, they're showering in it, they're doing their laundry in it, and this is happening in most states across the country. In most major cities, they're recycling dead people and feeding it to the living. What does that mean exactly? And they're grinding up the bones into powder. They call this calcium phosphate, which is going to be used for food processing, undoubtedly. Maybe in your vitamins. And so what are the implications when people start eating dead people?
It's the meat industry's dirty secret, a way of turning the scraps too small to sell as a premium steak back into a juicy plump eye fillet to sell for a premium price. So clever, you'll never tell. Not even an expert can.
Before, you didn't even pick that as a join though, did you?
It doesn't even taste for the joint.
bit hard to tell, isn't it? I've just got some fine diced beef and my special enzyme. Just go and mix it up a bit.
Why have we got the masks on?
This is dangerous. See that? Don't breathe that in.
This powder is transglutaminase enzyme, otherwise known as meat glue. Meat glues come in a number of forms, some produced by cultivating bacteria, the others, the primary ingredient comes from the blood plasma of pigs and cattle, specifically the coagulant which causes blood to clot. In the food industry, it has amazing properties.
The same chemicals used in Nazi gas chambers were used on Mexicans at the U.S.-Mexico border. Mexicans crossing the El Paso-Juarez border were forced to strip down and turn their clothes in to be sterilized in a bath filled with gasoline and formaldehyde. Then they were placed in an industrial dryer. These clothes were then fumigated with hydrocyanic acid, sulfuric acid, DDT, and Zyklon B. They had to stand naked in front of a customs inspector. This inspector was supposed to check Mexicans in their hairy parts, their head, armpits, genital area, and chest area for lice. If lice were found, then the person was shaved, then bathed with kerosene and vinegar. Mexican women were subjected to harassment during these inspections. There had even been a handful of custom officers taking pictures of naked Mexican women and spreading them around bars, saloons, and barbershops. And that's why on January 28, 1917, Carmelita Torres had enough. She was a 17-year-old Ciudad Juarez resident. She was a maid and she passed every single morning into El Paso. That morning, when customs officials asked her to go into the trolley and head to the baths, she refused. She got off the streetcar and did not go with them. Then 30 women joined her. 1 hour later, these 30 women became 200 women. They blocked all traffic on that bridge, and by noon, 200 became several thousand. They marched to the disinfection camp, and when immigration and public health officials tried to disperse the crowd, they were met with bottles, rocks, and insults. The army was called, and not even they could stop these women. They called in the Mexican Escuadrón de la Muerte, who General Francisco Murguía was in charge of. Eventually, the riot was squashed, but it took the U.S. Army, the Mexican Army, and police from both sides to stop them. But this practice of delousing with Zyklon B and DDT continued to be used on braceros in the bracero program for years. The El Paso Times thought this was pretty funny, and they wrote headlines like, all this commotion just because a bunch of Mexicans didn't want to take a bath. And it's probably needless to say, but the white writers of the El Paso Times were not subjected to these chemical baths. In the end, the efforts of the women and Carmelita Torres were largely forgotten, and these types of baths and sprays were continuing to be used across the U.S.
So just got a little bit here, about a teaspoonful.
Yep.
Just over the top like that. And with our gloves on, of course, we mix it up.
Then roll it in plastic film and refrigerate. 6 hours later, you have a solid piece of meat.
And essentially, you've got a reborn, rebirth thigh fillet.
More or less, yeah.
And it's not just beef. Pork, lamb, fish, and chicken are all stuck back together using this glue.
Are you just shaking your head?
A little bit. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
This cube roll we bought from a wholesaler that produces stuck-together steaks en masse. Their effort's so good, James, our butcher, couldn't tell even when it was raw. It's even harder in the restaurant, which are some of the biggest users of glued meat. And chances are, unless you're a vegetarian, you're eating it on a regular basis. But with current labelling laws, neither butchers nor your local eatery have to tell you you're eating chicken glued together with cow's blood or beef held together by pig.
What's that? Oh, now it's raining blue in California as well? Not just Texas? Okay. Yeah, there's been several reports of people talking about how it's raining blue in California as well. One person talked about how they tested the water and apparently there was high doses of iron in this water. What? At first this was believed to just be localized in Texas, but now there's quite a few people reporting this in California, and one person in California decided to try this water as well. Now, he didn't have the same effects as the person in Texas did with the hallucinations, but he said he did feel nauseous and a bit dizzy. Okay. And this was with a pretty small amount of water, just what he could get gathered in his hands. So, okay. This rain seems to be a bit terrifying, okay? Let's try to avoid the blue rain.
That's good. Hey, oh, what's that? That Dr. Pepper? That's that Dr. Pepper.
Got a motherfucking blue lake right here. How much would it take for you to drink that water? How much money?
Broke out my window.
Which one?
Man, look, I'm so mad.
Despite making up 13% of the population, black people commit more than 50% of crimes. Number 1, shut up. Number 2, the statistic is racist. And number 3, I'm going to explain why to other white people who are stupid to not understand what this means. Number 1, black communities are heavily over-policed, meaning they are more likely to be targeted by police officers than people who are, say, white. The second reason, white people have more connections to police officers around the country, meaning that if they are arrested, it's easier for them to get off and have nothing on their record. The third reason is that if you don't know this, the CIA actually did introduce drugs to low-income black areas. Not to mention, the first police department in America was designed to be a, quote, slave patrol to bring an enslaved person back to that plantation. So if you have any critical thinking skills at all, you would understand it's not that black people commit more crimes, it is that they are arrested, prosecuted, and treated inhumanely to the point that they are vastly overrepresented in our prison system.
I got a pass.
Why you got a pass?
I got a pass because I have a friend.
Yeah, and what, she said you could say it?
Yeah, she said I can say whatever I want to whoever I want.
And you just call me for no reason. You like, I want to know your logic, like how you think.
Okay, first of all, it's South America here. I can say whenever I want. It's Israel. It's okay. Second of all, I see something. I say something.
So what did you see when you saw me?
Black all over.
I'm Arab.
It's the same.
That's the same.
You're Arab or Muslim?
I'm Arab.
That's okay, but you're also black.
I'm not black. I'm Arab.
Doesn't matter.
100%.
What?
I'm 100% Arab.
But you're 100%.
Yo, you're racist, like next level. I'm gonna make you famous.
Make me famous. Tell everybody they know me.
Now she said, what you call me as soon as you open the screen? What did you?
I call you.
All right, why?
Because I don't like it. And I see something, I say something.
You just said you had a black friend. Oh no, you said the N word. What? That's
friend.
That's your friend.
Yeah, she's my friend. I can call her.
And you call her?
She wants her. She's probably sleeping, but I can show her.
And you call her?
Yeah, of course.
And you're really proud of yourself.
Yeah, her name is Adiam. I call her Adiam.
Wow. Nice.
She also called herself that.
Wow. I'm gonna make you go famous. Take care. Free Palestine.
Yeah.
That's crazy.